After 6 months of bad international press branding St Helena Airport unusable, St Helenians have now had their hopes raised. Atlantic Star's chief executive Richard Brown has said that the company may be capable of providing scheduled commercial flights between St Helena and Ascension as soon as spring 2017. On Friday the 21st of October, crowds gathered in and around the airport, eagerly awaiting for Atlantic Star to land an AVRO RJ100 aircraft. This is the largest plane to land on the runway since Comair's Boeing 737-800 back in April of this year. Piloted by 2 Faroe Island pilots, the plane came into sight a little after 3:45 p.m. and touched down on runway 02, characterised as having a tailwind, with seemingly no trouble at all. The majority of the passengers disembarked the aircraft before it set off again, this time to attempt a landing on runway 20, which suffers from wind shear. Again, the Faroe Island pilots pulled it off with very little trouble, landing with plenty of runway to spare. Later that evening, Atlantic Star's Richard Brown held a question and answer session at the Consulate Hotel, which was well attended. He explained a bit more about the company's plans for the future.
Why have we brought the RJ down here? Well, the reason is because we think right now for landing on runway 02 it's the right aeroplane for the job, and very fortunately for us we've got Mr. Adrian Nosquith from Tronos Leasing, who happens to have an RJ that we can use. The one that we've got here today is on a delivery flight down to South America, but luckily for us Adrian has 2 more up his sleeve that potentially we could use maybe as early as next spring to get some air services started. On the first one, we'd probably just be going to Ascension Island and also doing some medevac stuff. So we'd have the aircraft here on the island all the time, 24/7, with crew, maintenance facility here, and with an engineer and all that good stuff. But the second airplane, we could potentially put some extra tanks in it, such that we can do flights on to Walvis, to Windhoek, to Cape Town, to Joburg, to Accra. All the places that potentially, first of all, people might want to come from to come and visit this great place, and also places that you might choose to use as a way of connecting to anywhere in the world that you might happen to want to go. So that's the plan. That is kind of where we are at the moment. We obviously, for those of you at the airport, you saw that we did successful approach onto runway 02, and then we actually took off again on 20, did a circuit and landed on 20 as well. Both of those landings were good. Both of the approaches were fine. It wasn't a particularly windy day today. There was a bit of wind around, and obviously for runway 20, potentially we would need to get a lot more data before we would want to use that commercially. But we see no reason not to potentially start operations using runway 02 as soon as we get the green light, really. So. SHG have to have a process. That's part of being a grown-up government. That's what they have to do. We're going to engage with them in that. They've been really helpful in putting this flight on, as have DFID, and I think it's important that we do acknowledge that. They are trying to work really hard to a solution, but they need more data in terms of the wind effects before they can really start to put a solution together. But we're working with them on that. As you can see, we're pretty serious about what it is that we're doing.